Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where I am wearing a shirt 2 sizes too big because my mother still thinks I dress like the overweight teenager I was in high school. I like the shirt though. Today we are on Action Comic Books number 26, which happens to fall on Thanksgiving, and I am thankful for Action Comic Books number 26 because it is the best Superman story I have read in this entire read-through of every Superman comic ever. It's not a mob story. It's basically a story where Superman screws with a bunch of con men for the entire time. And you know what? That's fun, and I enjoyed reading it. Professor Cobalt shows up to the Daily Planet demanding to know why they're not running any of his ads. Professor Cobalt has invented some sort of treatment that cures physical disabilities. If that sounds too good to be true, it is. I wonder if that miracle cure from like 1 or 2 issues ago cures physical disabilities. Because someone did come up with a miracle cure for something. He threatens George Taylor with his cane because George Taylor doesn't believe him. Clark walks in and Clark basically breaks the cane and throws Professor Cobalt out. Both Lois and George are surprised by this because this is like the second issue in a row where Clark seems to forget about his whole secret identity being a coward thing. And he has like no excuse for it here, so he just kind of goes with it. This inspires Lois and Clark to go investigate this miracle cure of Professor Cobalt at his clinic. While there, they meet a mother who has been paying $10 for pills. They are just sugar pills. And also, for the 1940s, $10 pills would be about $200 pills now, which still actually sounds cheaper than most pill prices, but still, sugar pills. Lois makes up some sort of condition to go see Professor Cobalt and his partner, Professor Grafton, who immediately just go with it. Apparently they have no doctorate degree to know that she's just totally making up some sort of ailment. Lois meets with Clark outside, showing that she has gotten sugar pills. But the professors see them outside and put two together because they recognize Clark from the Daily Planet. Grafton goes and points a gun at both Clark and Lois, and by points a gun, the dialogue mentions he has a gun, but we don't see a gun for like a page. Really weird art decision there. You would think it would be more dramatic to see the gun. They kidnap both of them, separate them into different rooms. They're already making a big mistake. They interrogate Clark, but Clark tricks them into leaving. And this is where the fun begins. Because they make the biggest mistake you possibly can with Clark when you trap him in a room. They leave him alone. So he immediately breaks his bonds and becomes Superman. He frees Lois, and then goes back to his cell to pretend he's bound. Professor Grafton and Cobalt show back up. They want to know what the Daily Planet knows, so he starts talking about how they have their records and they're going to soon use them to interview all their patients. They panic and go to destroy the records. But this is just a ploy by Clark, who immediately breaks out again, becomes Superman, bright blue costume, red cape, follows them to the safe with all the records, distracts them, takes the safe, runs out, and barricades them in the room. I love how much he is screwing with these guys. He sets the safe on top of the roof and goes back to the cell. They come back, and without a better idea, they send Clark back to the Daily Planet to send a message that they're going to sue the Daily Planet if they don't retract their story that Lois wrote while Clark was out. The evening edition came out, so there's been a big expose about how they're phonies. Clark goes, okay, and just leaves. Becomes Superman, takes the safe back to George Taylor, who they then get the records, and Lois and Clark go to interview all the different patients. Unfortunately, Professor Grafton and Cobalt seem to remember where all their patients were without the records, and have gotten the sugar pills before them. One of the kids is a little girl who is very sick and is probably not going to survive for very long. So Clark becomes Superman and flies to, I think, Florida? There's a hurricane going on at the time, which I didn't expect this comic to have. This is just a really fascinating interlude in this comic of just like, what's happening? So he goes and gets the surgeon and brings him back. At one point during the hurricane he's flying through, or jumping through because he can't fly at this time, a house comes flying at them, which he destroys with one punch. Okay, I guess this comic needed action somewhere. I was more enjoying his playful pranks on the con men. The surgeon arrives and is able to save the little girl. While he's doing that, Grafton and Cobalt take Lois because, of course, she's going to be kidnapped. But, and this is very important, she doesn't get saved by Superman. Instead, something far more horrifying happens. They're probably about to kill her when a lynching mob comes crashing through. People have read the story and they're incredibly angry that these two men have been taking advantage of kids and families that desperately needed the money and are probably getting those kids killed. So Lois is saved by a mob who is about to lynch these two men. They have the men completely hanged when Superman shows up and saves them at the last second. I did not expect a lynching mob to show up in this really fun issue of Superman, but it's the 1940s and this is where we're at. They turn themselves in due to being way more afraid of that lynching mob than being free. So this is sort of the way Superman solves problems, but it's completely incidental. It's a lynching mob that actually saves the day. He saved a little girl, though. Yes, this is an absolute fun Superman story. He's using his powers to screw around with people. Really bad people who are essentially getting kids killed, so good on him. I would rather have a million more stories like this, because A, they're going to be a lot more fun, and B, they're a lot more inventive, because Superman has to do things that are way more creative than just standing there letting mobsters shoot at him and then breaking their guns. So that's it from Action Comics number 26. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is now Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman or Detective Comics issue just like I covered Action or Superman here. And until next time, let us ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? And why is there so many lynching mobs in these comics? Bye!